Welcome back, everybody. Today I was going to talk about Blue Archive and the disaster of a release it was when it came to soaring prices, lack of availability. But today there was something more important that came up, and that was JoJo reprints on the English Weiss Schwarz side because nobody saw this coming. Nobody. And I will say, I'm going to be talking about collector value. I'm going to go look at JoJo prices on the cards right now. I'm going to be looking at gold to silver sets. That would be your Nazarick and that time I got reincarnated as slime. And also, I'm going to be answering some questions that PokeMike posed during his video, right? So if you have not checked out PokeMike, check him out. He hit 1,000 subscribers, so congratulations. When I say I'm going to answer some questions he asked that throughout the video, it's not bashing or anything like that. If you don't already know, I watch Weiss Schwarz videos throughout the day as I work and watch other videos, of course, but I don't ever answer it because I'm working. I feel like that takes away from what I'm actually supposed to do, which is actually work. So this was a surprise for many of us because what happened on the JPY Schwarz side is you had premium booster boxes that released on August 11th. We had Stone Ocean and Stardust Crusaders. Now, this is exclusive to Japan, right? If you went to your normal JPY Schwarz seller, you were not able to actually pick this up. So when we think about licensing, and think about that. If they actually prevented us from getting this stuff, then why the heck are they reprinting this? So question that people had, or at least hints or thoughts about this is that premium booster box coming to English, right? Nobody knows for sure, but my guess is yes, it will probably be coming because why reprint these at all? Why get the license for this thing if you're not going to bother picking up the premium booster? So that's where I land on all this. Now, when it comes to collector value, everybody was wondering, will there be silver signatures? Because we need to differentiate between a first edition and a second edition or a reprint edition. And yes, later on in the day, after many people asked throughout the day, what we ended up here was a revised version of the reprint announcement that said all hot stamp SP cards will feature unique silver prints in place of the original gold. So if you don't know about this product, there was a booster box and trial deck, and each one of them had signed cards in there. There was a lot more in the booster box, of course, than what you saw here with the actual trial deck. Now here's the prices on these. This is what these cards look like. These are your SPs. There were also SECs and SSP, actually one SEC, and you can see them right here. There were no signatures on there. They were not specifically mentioned right here. It says SP cards, but my guess is these should be changing from gold to silver as well. And the reason I am saying that is just because what we saw with that time I got reincarnated as a slime, we have the gold stamp on the left. We have the right one with the silver signature or stamp, I guess you could say, because it's not a signature. But you can see throughout here that these were converted over. You don't have this Shizu because that is your trial deck, which didn't get reprinted, which begs the question that many people begged. Why is the trial deck of JoJo getting reprinted when you didn't see one for that time I got reincarnated as a slime? As many people would have loved to get this Rimuru Tempest in trial deck card form because they don't want to pay a ton of money for this. That's just one of the questions that are burning up in people's minds. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't know. One of the things about collector value outside of the stamps are people wanted to make sure that their sealed boxes are going to hold some value. So the fact that we know this is going to be a different version, right? Some get stamped with reprint right there. You can see that on that slime box. The one on the right, slime reprint 5752. On the left is your first edition. That is $334. Now, when I go think about slime, when the whole gold and silver came up, I was one of the people that said, you know what, I think gold is going to have some value. It may actually go up a little bit, but in the end, I think it hurts collector value. And the reason for that is just because it's the whole supply and demand thing. You end up with supply and demand, and the fact that if you take a look on the left, let me find a good one. Here we go. If you take a look on the left, you have Shizu for $600 in gold form. You have on the right Shizu in silver signature form at $289.99. Right? If you have a pool of, let's say, 10 buyers and you don't know what their budget is, you had 10 buyers and you say, here's one for 600 and here's one for 289.99, how many people are more inclined to go to the gold one and how many people are inclined to go to the silver signature? Now, what happens then is, right, the whole demand, your pool of 10 people just decrease. What that number is, you could tell me, but in theory, what's going to happen is you need to have this card on the left be mega, mega rare because your pool of interested buyers have just gone down and just settled for the silver signature. And I believe that to be actually true. Like throughout all of this, right here you have this Milim 2000 on the left, and the right side is 279.99. And I know people are saying like that 2000 is just like some fake number that people just threw up there just to see if someone will actually buy it. But you know, you never know the intentions of sellers. They may actually think the card is worth 2,000, and I'm not one of those people that are going to tell them how to value their cards. If you want to put it up for 2 grand, put it up for 2 grand. But you can see my point. I think it's like overall, there is some value to first edition versus a reprint or second edition. But at the same time, you lose actual buyers because they'll pick up a cheaper version of that, right? Because it's more affordable. But when it comes to the seal, it's nice because it holds some value there. With Nazarick, Tomb of the Undead, you can see the exact same thing happening here, right? You have this Nabe here on the left for $299.99. In gold on the right side, you can see her in silver at $63.96, and on and on and on. So, like, some of the characters aren't going to have some value, right? Like, you have right here, you have Blue Rose Evil Eye, $279.99 sold. And over here on the right, $139.99. So, when it comes to these reprints, yeah, there's some value to having it in gold, but does it actually really, really hold up? If the demand isn't out there for it, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I'm not saying here that reprints aren't necessary. I think it's nice to have reprints on sets like this. Like if premium booster boxes for JoJo are coming, it's nice that people are able to pick up cards. Now, when I took a look at this, I was like, why are they reprinting this? There are some cards out here on the trial deck side that are pricey, but other than that, I mean, like if you scroll down through here, these are like your normal trial deck prices. When I take a look here at your double rares, yeah, some are expensive, but I kind of expect that with how many cards are really out there, the available pool of supply, right? So I looked at the double rares. Here is your rares. Oh, look, there's a $6 one right there, $4.49, but you still have some available. And that's what I would expect with, I guess, a set that hasn't been out there all too long. And I don't know how many people really, really open this thing. And lastly, here are your PR cards. And again, some of these are from like actual events, but they all seem pretty reasonable for, I guess, how long this set's been out here. Okay. One of the other things that I noticed with this JoJo is the fact that you have JJRs. JJRs were a replacement to SRs. You also have triple rare JJRs, I guess you could call it, right? Those are replacement to the triple rare. And if you notice on here, there's gold stamping on them. And how I know this is I looked at this and I'm like, what is with this? And then I found the video. You take a look right here. You can see there's actual coloration to that. And I'm wondering, I'm like, when you get reprints, your base rarity, your stuff outside of the signature, levels go down in price. Your SRs, your triple rares, your double rares, all that comes down because there's no way to tell the difference between your first edition and your reprint edition. But in this case, I'm like, if you take a look at this, I'm like, can you imagine if they put silver on here? I don't know if they go to the lengths and actually do that, but this is actually doable with this set if you want to preserve collector value in that way. This is one of the things I don't like talking about just because throughout the day I noticed there is on Facebook, of course, people talking about collectors, investors, and players. I think I've mentioned this a million different times, but one of the things that is bad about this reprint is who owns the cards, right? You can't say this benefits all players because Imagine you buying that Rimuru Tempest. I don't have it up. I should bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up. Imagine you're a person that owns this Rimuru Tempest, and they decide to actually. Is there no more? Here you go. $42.79. Now, if you bought a trial deck back in the day, you're like, I'm sitting pretty. 42.79. That's a good price. I could sell that. If it drops to 20, you know what? Even it's okay because I still bought it for normal trial deck price. But if you were a player and you paid $42.79 and they announce a reprint and now your card goes all the way down to like $8, $5, something like that, how do you feel? Not only do the collectors that have the gold signatures, if they were to stay gold, will go down, the booster box prices, sealed prices go down, but the players are hurt as well. And it sucks, but it just depends on the timing. If you have the card, if you don't have the card. Hopefully that makes sense. Because all this bickering back and forth between like collectors, investors, and all that, it's just what do you say? It's so 2020, 2021. Like I thought hopefully we moved on past all those times. It's been a not so fun years, but when it comes to collector value, I would say I think it hurts, of course, because the supply and the demand, and now people actually have more supply out there to pick from. And if you're hoping to sell these later on as it matures and people actually want this limited card or this limited booster box, well, more supply just hit you in the face. It's nice that you get to keep the whole gold signature thing in here. Does this really mean the end of Weiss Schwarz in sort of collecting and investing? No, I don't think so. Because if anything, hopefully this drags more people in. It's more just your time horizon just changes, right? Like instead of hopefully selling this in 2 years, now you're looking at 5 years, and you have to hope that the IP stays alive. But I would say Weiss Schwarz is not indiscriminately reprinting all these different sets, right? Because as pointed out in my let's say Twitter account, I talked about Azure Lane because Azure Lane came out not too long ago. Let's see what date it was. October 27th, Azure Lane came out. And if you take a look at the booster box on TCG Player, it is over $100. And for whatever reason, they did not reprint it at all, right? I could go back and point to Mushoku Tensei and they didn't reprint that ever. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to me because they could have all these different candidates to reprint like slime trial decks and still refuse to do it. So I think when it comes to collecting, we know that if a set were to come out into English, they more than likely have this ability to check on if the prior sets need a reprint. And I think that's what happened here. That's why I still land on the fact that the premium booster box still potentially will be coming out. I have no fear about, like, let's say investing in Weiss Schwarz other than, you know, again, the possible reprint, but it's not something they're looking to reprint every set of. Or we would have saw Konosuba by now because that would have been really cool to actually see come through. I mean, it is what it is. I think as long as you like this game, if you like collecting your sets, it'll be fine. The only thing that will ever break Weiss Schwarz is if they lose the fundamentals, right? If they end up picking like garbage titles to bring out to Weiss Schwarz and maybe not as popular, really old stuff that, you know, probably people don't want anymore. I know Pokey Mike mentioned in his video about Union Arena. I don't have any fear about Union Arena because, again, a game like this, like a trading card game, consists of players, collectors, and investors, right? If you have people moving over to Union Arena, is that the end of Weiss Schwarz? I definitely don't think so. You have an IP over there, many IPs over there that are popular, but you also have IPs over on Weiss Schwarz side that you're not going to find on Union Arena. You also have people that love playing this game. Some people may not like it as much as they used to. Some people might hate the current meta being killed off at level 2, but you know what? They still like this game overall. So you need all three of those different groups coming together to actually push a game, right? You have One Piece, but again, that's a specific IP. If people don't care about One Piece, because I will guarantee not 100% of the people that are in One Piece today is because they enjoy it. Some people are there just for the money, the free tendies, if you will, and that's what it is. With Weiss Schwarz, I think at this point, you lost the people that, for the most part, you lost the people that were in it for the money. The people that are still here actually like this stuff for the most part because they want to play it, they either want to collect it, and there's always that potential of some people investing in it. And I, for one, am happy all the groups exist because that is a very nice ecosystem. Because I don't know about you, but I was very happy picking up double rares when they were like $4 or $5, $6. But at the same time, I don't like picking up double rares at this point at $15 to $20. But I mean, everybody can have an opinion on that one. I don't know why people bash each other when you got cheaper playable cards. That was very nice, but you had some value in the SPs and higher up rarities. I think it's just sad to see that this conversation still goes on where people somewhat make fun of each other, let's say, but you know that it is what it is, and I guess drama every now and then is bound to happen. But if you have any comments about this JoJo release, do let me know down here. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think there's anything really to worry about as long as we don't see massive amounts of reprints, which I don't think they intend to actually do. But as always, feel free to reach out to me. I have my stuff in the description. Just take a look down below or check me out here. But as always, have fun, be happy, don't spend anything outside your budget. Have a good one.